the Palestinian people are just, well, that's the way it goes. That's why they don't want them to be a nation, because then they might have a beef in the United Nations, so they're going to keep suppressing them, as they've been doing.
But what is Israel thinking? Because I've seen Netanyahu earlier this year get rid of the Mossad chief and others, or is that all part of theater, like all of Israel is involved in this? I mean, this is so crazy to be doing this.
Okay, let's go from the beginning. In 1948, Israel, as a Jewish nation, was founded by Ben-Gurion and the other terrorists, the Irgun gang, and so Rahm Emanuel's father was a member of one of those gangs. Israel Shamir, Menachem Begin, all of those people who later became prime ministers were murderous, cutthroat terrorists. Now, they had their operations operated. You can read this in the book, The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine, by a great Jewish historian, Elian Papi. And he notes that the very first building they set up their headquarters in Tel Aviv, which was, by the way, a city founded in 1909 by Rothschild, but it was called the Red House. Why was it called the Red House? Because they were all red communists. And these were the same people who had bludgeoned and murdered much of Eastern Europe.
By the way, Steve Pachenik, who's reportedly Jewish himself, he was on like a month ago about the Iran attack, and he was saying all this, and he was saying that people around Israel are communist, and they're going to do all this, and they worked with Hitler, and it was all wild. I don't know why he was coming on air just saying all that.
Well, Christian ministry, not too long ago, I was talking with the head of it, and they were telling me that they were giving about $600,000 a year in donations to a Israeli hospital, just as a goodwill project. And I told him, I said, well, they have socialized Medicare, like Obamacare in Israel. He said, they do? I said, yes. And not only that, they have free abortions for all Israeli women. Other than Japan, Israel has the highest abortion rate in the whole world. He was shocked. He had no idea of this. But yes, it is a socialist, communist country.
Well, but again, I saw ads on Fox News for a group, and I went and looked it up, and they were doing abortions. So it's Christian to abort Jewish children? Because I guess you're anti-Semitic if you don't want to kill Jewish children.
Well, you can't, Christians, if you're a Jew and you become a Christian, you cannot immigrate to Israel. Menachem Begin actually, as prime minister, actually practiced secretly Buddhism. Buddhist Jews can immigrate to Israel, but not Christian Jews. They are prohibited by law from immigrating. So there is a prejudice and a discrimination. I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic. I wish people would check these things out. Then they will know. And this is the reason I believe they're cooperating with us in what I call the murder of the Middle East. It's to their financial benefit and so forth. That's why the pipelines that were built from Iraq go through Israel and southern Lebanon over, one of them is right at Haifa.
Well, Tex, I don't think it's anti-Semitic. It's anti-globalist communist influence. I mean, if a Russian's communist, we don't bash Russians, or if a Chinese person is. It's clearly something going on, and it's just extremely frustrating and frightening.
Yeah, Bobby Inman lives here in Austin, Texas. Admiral Bobby Inman used to be deputy director of the CIA. He was the guy that helped to catch one of the most horrible spies. In fact, he did more damage to the United States than any spy in history, a man named Jonathan Pollard. He was an American Jew born in Galveston, Texas, Jonathan Pollard, but he began to spy for the Israeli Mossad, and he got a job working at the Defense Department, and eventually he stole over 10,000 top secret and secret documents. And they told everything about where all of our missiles were, our submarines were at any time under the sea. It was a terrible thing. Now, what did he do with these 10,000 documents? First of all, he turned them over to the Israeli Mossad that sold them to Red China. Now, this was during the Cold War. Jonathan Pollard sits in the U.S. prison today. This is worse than the Rosenbergs, who gave the Soviet Union the atomic bomb back in the 50s. Jonathan Pollard, Bobby Inman, the Israeli nation wanted Jonathan Pollard to be freed, and they were demanding the United States president to give him a pardon. And Clinton was looking to do that to please Netanyahu and what was the guy's name, Barak, I think, who was the prime minister then. And he had already, freed Mark Rich on his last day in office or whatever, another Israeli spy and crook. And Clinton was wanting to do it, but Bobby Inman met with other, former CIA and especially military generals who were retired, and they said they would make the biggest stink in all of history if Clinton gave Jonathan Pollard a pardon. So, Clinton was too afraid to do that. He had already, given these other crooks, including drug dealers, pardons. And Netanyahu recently asked Barack Obama. Now, Jonathan Pollard will live like a multimillionaire in luxury in Israel, even though he's an American citizen, because he did this great, wonderful deed for Israel. But so you see that listen, Alex, I think America should consider America first. Which president, I think it was George Washington in his farewell address, told us not to have these entangling alliances or these passionate attachments. It scared me to death when I found out recently that Herman Cain, his big support comes from the very rich Jewish Koch brothers in New York. Did you know they flew Herman Cain to Israel to be vetted out and interviewed? Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mark Bloch flew to New York City, and there's a couple there. Their last name is Strober, Strober. And they're the ones that wrote the book about Herman Cain. This is Herman Cain. He didn't write it himself. This Jewish couple did. They're very, let's just say, attached to Israel. And they arranged for him and his campaign manager, this Mark Bloch, who, by the way, the campaign manager, Mark Bloch, for Herman Cain is so crooked, the Wisconsin courts forbid him for 3 years from even participating in campaigns in Wisconsin because of the crooked stuff he had done. Now he's Herman. That's why Herman Cain gets up and says, I'm a Zionist and I'll do everything Israel wants and, be their big backer and all that. I wish for once that people would just put America first. Listen, I believe Israel has a right to exist. Of course, I believe that, as a Christian, I've always loved the Bible says whosoever will may come. That means of any race, any national or ethnic group. God is no respecter of persons. But I think as Americans, we owe it to our country to put our country first. And it's only right that Jonathan Pollard stay in prison after giving 10,000. And in fact, I want to know why we're giving all this aid money to Israel when they gave 10,000 of our most classified documents that revealed our greatest military secrets to Red China.
Well, the globalists are teamed up big time with China, and it's a serious issue. Listen, Tex, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go to a 14-minute video before Weldon Henson joins us, and then calls and more guests here with some country music during this 4th annual Infowars.com MoneyBomb, Infowars, MoneyBomb.com. But I know you have a great newsletter that's free for folks to get a complimentary copy and a lot more. Give us your websites and give us the newsletter, Tex, and thank you for joining us.
Sure, Alex. Powerofprophecy.com. Powerofprophecy.com. And I want to encourage people out there to contribute, to give, as I said, to your money bomb, because we're in a very perilous situation. And I'll tell you, you have been at the forefront. And I'm glad that I can call you my friend. Thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you, Tex. How do folks get a free copy of the newsletter?
Oh, listen, all they have to do is write us. Just write to Tex Mars, 1708 Patterson Road, Patterson Road, Austin, Texas, 78733, and say, hey, Tex, send me that free newsletter. We'll be glad to do it.
And I know I sprung it on you, but there's a number, too, during the week.
Sure. Well, you're kind to allow me to give that out. It's let's give them the 1-800 number. 1-800-234. Oh my goodness.
Hey, I can't remember my number.
9673. Yeah, I
say it again. You got to say it fast.
1-800-234-9673.
I'm the same way. I got to say a number faster. I forget it. Say it again.
1-800-234-9673, and simply say, hey, I'd like that newsletter. We won't ask them to buy one thing. They don't have to worry about any solicitation or anything else. We'll be glad to send it to them.
Well, it's really great information, and we all need to look at every angle of this situation and all the different mafias that are out there. Tex Mars, God bless you. Thanks for spending time with us.
Hey, God bless you, Alex. We'll talk to you again.
Say hi to Wanda for me.
Hey, I'll do it. All right. God bless you.
Thank you. There goes Tex Mars. I was reading this stuff 20 years ago. Okay. We've got a bunch of other guests coming up. What an incredible transmission. Joel Skousen, Webster Tarpley, Dr. Catherine Albrecht, George Norrie, David Icke, Mike Adams. You had a bunch of guests on. Alfred Adass, Tex Mars. We got Corbett of the Corbett Report coming up. Fritz Springmeyer, Dykes, Watson, Reeves, Gerald Salente, Watt, Jim Mars, Bob Chapman, and others. And my little phone has been ringing a lot. Jesse Ventura has called. Others have called. The feds have ruled against him. He doesn't get his day in court. Pot-bellied perverts get to grab his genitals. Jesse told me, he said, when I have a press conference, you'll be the first to get the first interview. And so he called me to say, okay, I've had the AP call me. Alex, I've had the AP call me and others. I told them no comment. The press conference is at noon tomorrow. And then I guess his wife wasn't there, so we were debating what her cell phone number was. So he's going to call my cell tomorrow. He's got the hotline. And he was like, I tried to call it, and it's busy because Tex was on. And then before that, another guest. So Ventura with breaking news tomorrow. Well, tomorrow, I mean, it's an hour away. We're almost 11 o'clock, a minute from 11 o'clock. I'll be here nonstop. I mean, I'm here. This is a new system. I should broadcast 27 hours every day. There's 27 hours in a day now. Weldon Henson's coming in. We got this little video that Darren McBreen had the idea to talk to the staff of Infowars.com. Talk to the crew. People like Weldon Henson who come in and play some songs in a moment. If you believe in what we're doing, if you believe in the full spectrum analysis, all the angles being covered, you name it, no rock left unturned, every perspective, and really defending basic liberty and freedom, then donate now at InfoWarsMoneyBomb.com. We got the crew in there taking your calls, 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. We got loaded phone lines. We'll take your calls as well. And so that's a nice document cam shot there. I don't know what oh, look, I can't even see you guys. See, you guys think I can see you through there? And was that actually on air? I'll tell you a famous story. Chris called down to the local barbecue place and asked for a cheeseburger, and the lady said, don't make me cook. And so now it's an ongoing joke around here about he asked for a cheeseburger, and she said, don't make me cook. So he's in there doing that over my earpiece here. Anyways, there's several permutations that don't make me cook around here. But Weldon Henson's coming in. Here's Darren McBreen, our great reporter and video editor. Here's his report with the crew. A lot of the crew never before seen. Very exciting. And we're going to come back with Weldon Henson playing his guitar. What a talented act. He plays at all the big places around here in Austin. Yeah, he plays at the Broken Spoke, where George Strait got a start, along with Willie Nelson. He plays the Continental Club. He plays everywhere, but he got all his talent from EB. A little inside joke here. Anyways, hey, Weldon, what's your website so I can give it out for folks? WeldonHenson.com. And if that ain't Al-Qaeda, I don't know what is. All right, we're going to go to this video piece by Darren McBreen with the crew around the office and what the InfoWar means to them. And then I'm going to come back with Weldon Henson, your phone calls, and a lot more. It's InfoWars Money Bomb 2011. Stay with us, partner.
All right, well, welcome to the Texas Central Command Center, deep behind enemy lines. Aaron Dykes is with me. He just got through doing the nightly news. And I just want to talk to you for a couple moments about, well, I guess the difference between this sort of broadcast compared to your typical mainstream media news outlet.
Well, I've been working here at InfoWars for more than 5.5 years, and it's really the simple difference of as in 1984, being able to admit 2 + 2 is 4, whereas the mainstream media looks at things through a certain prism, through the way it's scripted, and they have to analyze things within that boat. Here, we're able to essentially think freely, try to figure out what's going on, and we also are